Good morning, children. Welcome back to your chemistry class. So today in this chapter of alcohols, phenols and ethers, we continue about talking about alcohols, and today firstly we are going to talk about its physical properties. Okay, I'll go a bit oral about physical properties and I'll be slow about it. You may note down some points. So over here, the first point about alcohol is that the lower members of alcohols, lower members of alcohols, they are colorless liquids with characteristic smell and burning taste. Okay, so are colorless, characteristic smell and burning taste. Okay, then alcohols, they also exist as liquids due to the presence of intermolecular hydrogen bonds. Exists as liquids due to intermolecular hydrogen bonds. How are these bonds formed? Look over here. This is the alcohol, right? And this is the hydrogen bond that is formed with another alcohol. Then this gets attached to O, R and H. So what are these? These are your hydrogen bonds. Clear? So what did I say? That they exist as liquids. Why? Because of the intermolecular hydrogen bonds. Then third point about alcohols, the boiling points of alcohols, they are much higher than that of their corresponding hydrocarbons and haloalkanes. Why? Because of the presence of again the hydrogen bonds in them. But with the increase in molecular mass, remember the boiling point also increases. Increase in molecular mass increases boiling point also, right? Then remember over here that among isomeric alcohols, the boiling point always decreases with the branching, right? Due to the decrease in the surface area and the van der Waals forces. The boiling points, then it depends upon primary alcohol is more than the secondary alcohol, and least will be your tertiary alcohol. But this is in case of what? Isomeric alcohols. Okay, where what do we see? As the branching takes place, there is decrease in the boiling point due to decrease in the surface area and van der Waals forces. Clear? Then the lower members, they are always soluble in water. Lower members are soluble in water. Okay, why? Because they have the capacity to form intermolecular hydrogen bonds with water, right? But among the isomeric alcohols, the solubility increases with the branching. What happens? In isomeric alcohols, the solubility, it will increase with the increase in the branching, right? Then the lower alcohols, the lower members, they can be dried with quicklime. Okay, they can be dried with the quicklime. So these were some of the physical properties of alcohols. Now we move to the chemical properties of alcohols. Let's now talk about the chemical properties. Alcohols, they show different types of chemical reactions. The first kind is reactions due to cleavage of oxygen-hydrogen bond. Okay. The second type of chemical property is due to the reactions due to cleavage of carbon and hydroxide bond. And the third type of reaction is reactions due to both alkyl as well as hydroxyl group. Okay, so once again, chemical reactions of alcohols we are going to study in three categories. What are they? Reactions due to cleavage of oxygen and hydrogen bonding, then reactions due to cleavage of carbon and hydroxyl bond, then lastly reactions due to both alkyl as well as hydroxyl group. So today I am going to talk about the first two, that is reactions due to cleavage of oxygen and hydrogen bond. Let us start with this reaction first. Under the heading of reactions due to cleavage of hydrogen and oxygen, the first type that we are going to study is the acidic character. The acidic character of alcohols. Alcohols, they behave as weak acids, right? Due to their low polarity of oxygen-hydrogen bond. They behave as weak acids due to oxygen-hydrogen bond. Clear? The acidic strength is much less than the acid itself. Then the weak acidity of these alcohols is due to positive eye effect that exerted by the alkyl group. Okay, so what is the first chemical property that we studied here? Due to the reactions due to cleavage of OH bond, it reflects its acidic character. Why? They behave as weak acids. Why? Due to oxygen-hydrogen bond. The weak acidity of alcohol is due to what? Positive eye effect which is exerted by the alkyl group. Okay. Now let us talk about the relative strength of these alcohols. We should remember over here that the relative strength, right, of 1 degree, 2 degree or 3 degree alcohols is like primary. It has more strength than secondary followed by tertiary alcohols, right? This trend is due to the increasing plus I effect from 1 degree to 3 degree or from primary to tertiary alcohol, right? As the number of alkyl groups, they keep on increasing from primary to tertiary, which are also the electron releasing groups. Okay, thus we can say over here, like for example 2C2H5OH when treated with sodium, do you know what it gives? It gives sodium ethoxide, that is 2 parts of CH2ONA and hydrogen gas is given out. Clear? Now next point that we have to study under the reactions or due to cleavage of oxygen hydrogen bond is your esterification. esterification. Okay, try to understand what is esterification. Alcohols, they always give ester when they react with carboxylic acids, right? This we have studied in class 10th also. So alcohols, when they are treated with carboxylic acids, what, in the presence of H2SO4, they always gives us ester. The process is termed as esterification. The complete reaction is termed as esterification. And here, what is the work of sulfuric acid? It acts as a protonating as well as a dehydrating agent. Over here, it acts as number one, protonating as well as dehydrating agent. Clear? This is the work of sulfuric acid. So let us look at the general reaction first, and then we'll go into the deep mechanism to understand esterification. So if I take a carboxylic acid, like this is your carboxylic acid, when it is treated with alcohol, say HO and R dash, so what is it going to form? Clear? So in the presence of concentrated H2SO4, dehydrating agent means removing of water, and it is going to form ester. Now join this group. R, C, double bond O, O, R dash. This is your ester plus water is formed over here. Okay, let's take one example. Let me take ethanoic acid over here. So it could be CH3C double bond OOH. What is this? This is your ethanoic acid, right? When treated with, say, ethanol, that is HOC2H5. This is your ethanol. So what is it going to form? It will form water over here, and in the presence of concentrated sulfuric acid, it is going to form ethyl ethionate, which is your ester. So let us draw that. CH3C double bond OO C2H5. What is the name of this? Ethyl ethionate, and water is also formed. Clear? Is this reaction clear? Now let us also understand over here, before I explain you the mechanism of esterification, the rate of esterification for various alcohols. Always remember, rate of esterification of alcohols is, the series goes like this. CH3OH will show more esterification than C2H5OH, than CH3 whole twice, CHOH, and so on. Okay, or maybe CH3 whole CH3 COH, right? And what about carboxylic acids? For carboxylic acids, your rate of esterification will be, for carboxylic acids, let us see the rate of esterification. Maximum will be shown by methanoic acid, followed by ethanoic acid, and so on. Okay, CH3, CHCOOH, and so on. Is this clear? Now let us understand the mechanism of esterification. Esterification, the general reaction for it, so that you understand the mechanism if the reaction is written over here. Okay, so this is your acid. When reacts with alcohol, it is going to form ester OOH O R dash plus water will be formed. Okay, this is your ester. So let us now understand the mechanism of this esterification. So the esterification takes place in 3 steps. Remember, the reaction is said to proceed through nucleophilic addition elimination reaction, right? And this gives the best result in the presence of the mineral acid. So what is the mineral acid we are using over here? We are using concentrated sulfuric acid, right? So this nucleophilic addition elimination pathway with the acid catalyzed conditions for the esterification, right? So let us look at the first step. The first step is initially the hydrogen ion of the mineral acid. It attacks the oxygen atom of the carbonyl part of the COH group. So let's look over here. This is the structure. This is your O and OH, right? This is your alcohol, R double bond OH. This is when treated with mineral acid. The H ion, what did I say? Initially, the H ion of the mineral acid, it attacks the oxygen atom of the carbonyl part of COH group. So which is the carbonyl part of COH group? It is going to attack this. Fine. The result will be, it is going to form double bond OH. See, this lone pair is given to this hydrogen, or the proton I should say. Okay, so one lone pair is left, but when it gets attached to it, the positive charge will be, because one lone pair is given away, so positive charge will come over here. I hope this part is clear, and this remains as OH. Okay, now further what happens? Further, let me draw first and then I'll tell you. OH, OH, now what will happen here? This is a positive charge on oxygen. The positive charge on oxygen took place, so it is going to attract the electron towards itself because it has to become electronegative. Okay, so once this electron moves, it becomes a single bond, and again the lone pair is found over here. Now when this one electron moves away, then the carbon becomes positively charged. Okay, so this is your first step. Now what happens in the second step? Now the oxygen of the alcohol, I am going to treat, let me write this over here, OH, this is OH, and this is your positive charge. Now what I am going to do, I am going to bring alcohol over here, say OHR, right? This has a lone pair. So this lone pair is going to attack where? It is going to attack at the positive carbon atom of the carbonium ion. And what is it going to form now? Look at the structure. R, C, this will form OH. Okay. Then this OH is the same over here. So I mention it over here also, OH. And this gets attached to the carbon over here. So it is going to attach itself to the carbon. So when it is going to donate its lone pair to this, what will happen? One lone pair is here and this becomes positive, attaches one bond with R dash and another with hydrogen. Till here it's clear. Now look what will happen over here now. Understand over here in the second step now what will happen. Now this oxygen is positively charged. It needs electron. So from where it is going to take the electron? It will take the electron from here. When it's going to take the electron from here, where will this hydrogen go? It will move to this oxygen. Okay, what it will do? Sharing one lone pair over here. When it's going to share one lone pair over here, then let's see what happens in step 3. Over here, deprotonation takes place. That is, the H ion, it liberated in the second step, it attacks the oxygen of the OH group and takes the lone pair from it. Right? So let us see how this happens. In the third step, R, C, look here, what will happen now? This only one lone pair will be there and it attains a positive charge because it has given away its electron, one pair of electron to this hydrogen, and thus how many hydrogen? H2 will be formed over here. And look at this O, because it has taken electron, so now it has two lone pairs and it combines with the alkyl group. I hope this structure is very clear. Now lastly, what happens? Now this lone pair will be given back, and because this is positively charged, it will take the electron from here. Fine. So when it takes the electron from here, this will get separated, forming H2O. And what happens over here? When the lone pair comes here, it's going to give away one hydrogen ion. This hydrogen ion will be given away. Okay. And hence, we are going to form the ester, RC double bond O, OR dash, and water is formed here. This is your ester. I hope this mechanism is clear to all of you. So once again, let us revise it. We had taken the carboxylic acid, right? When it was treated with the mineral acid, with the H ion of the mineral acid, what happened? This H ion took away the lone pair. So when it took away the lone pair, the oxygen had the positive charge over it. This positive charge, because it is a positive charge, it will take one electron to become electronegative. So when this electron is given back to oxygen, the carbon becomes electropositive, or carbonium ion will be formed over here. Now this positive carbon atom will be attacked by the OH of the alcohol. So this OH, the oxygen which has a lone pair, attacks the carbon. When it is going to attack the carbon, what will happen? It attains a positive charge over itself. Now look over here. This, because oxygen is positively charged, it will take away electron from this side, and this hydrogen is going to attach itself to the hydroxyl ion over here. Then again a shared pair of electron will be utilized by this hydrogen and it attains a positive charge here. Now since there were two lone pairs, so one lone pair is given back, and over here, because there is a positive charge, it will accept one electron from the bond, and from here the cleavage takes place, water will be formed, and from here one hydrogen ion will be given out, thus forming an ester and water. Clear? I hope the mechanism of esterification is clear to all of you. Now next reaction is reaction of alcohols with acid halides or acid and hydrides. Okay, So over here, when an alcohol is heated with an acid halide or an acid anhydride, the hydrogen of the hydroxyl group is replaced by the acyl group, that is RCO, and the ester is formed, right? And this process is also called as acylation, that is ROH. This is your alcohol, right? When it is treated with your acyl chloride, that is RCOCl. This is what? Your acyl chloride. Followed, what is it going to form? It is going to form ester, RCOR dash. This is the ester formed over here, right? Even when we treat this alcohol with the anhydride, that is say R-CO whole twice O, then it is going to what? It is going to form ester, that is ROCOR dash, plus an acid will be formed over here. Okay, this will be formed by, this is 2, no, this is going to form by the acid, by the alkyl group of your acid anhydride, and ester will be formed. Okay, now remember that primary and secondary alcohols, what is this process called as? This is called as, and this one also called as acylation. So now remember, primary and secondary alcohols, they are acetylated with ethanol chloride. Followed, and what do they give? They give ethyl ethionate. So let's look at the reaction, like CH3CH2OH, which is your ethanol, when treated with, what did I say? Ethanol chloride, that is CH3COCl. CH3COCl, acyl chloride, or also called as ethanol chloride. What it is supposed to give us? Ester. Okay, so let's form the ester over here. It will form CH3COO, CH2CH3, and HCl will be given out. Okay, so this is your ethyl ethionate. Let us now do the second type of reaction, that is reactions due to cleavage of carbon and hydroxyl bond. Okay, carbon and hydroxyl bond. Over here, the order of reactivity of different types of alcohols is like, for tertiary alcohol, it will be more than your secondary alcohol, right? And least will be that of the primary alcohol. So what is the order of reactivity? This is the order of reactivity when the reactions are going to take place due to cleavage of carbon and hydroxyl bond over here. First one could be reaction with hydrogen halide. Over here, the order of reactivity of hydrogen halide will be what? HI will be more reactive than HBr, and least reactive will be your HCl, right? So let's see this, C2H5OH, that is the ethanol, which is your primary ethanol when treated with HCl. Primary ethanol treated with HCl, what? In the presence of anhydrous zinc chloride, and it is heated. What do we get? We get chloroethane over here, that is C2H5Cl plus water will be formed. What is this? This is your chloroethane formed, right? Then let's take secondary alcohol over here. For example, CH. This can be CH3, CH3 and OH. Okay. This combines with HCl. So what is it going to form? Look here, it will form water. Again, in the presence of anhydrous zinc chloride, it will form CH3, CH3, CHCl. What is the name of this? 2-chloropropane plus HCl will be formed, right? So the reaction of the primary and secondary alcohols with the HCl gas in the presence of anhydrous ZnCl2, it will be called as Grove's method. The reaction of this is your 1 degree, this is your secondary alcohol. So the reaction of your primary and your secondary alcohols with HCl, what are they termed as? In the presence of anhydrous zinc chloride, they are called as Grove's method. Okay. Now talking about tertiary alcohol. Tertiary alcohol, that is CH3, 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 OH plus HCl. This reaction will take place at room temperature. Okay. And what is it going to form? Let's see. CH3, CH3 here and Cl. What is the name of this? 2-chloro. 1, 2, 3. Okay. 2-chloro, 2-methyl propane plus water is formed when? At room temperature. We are talking this about what? About your tertiary alcohol. Okay. Till now we were talking about HCl acid. Now in case of HBr, let us understand. In case of HBr, small amount of concentrated sulfuric acid is added as a catalyst only for primary alcohols, that is ROH, which is your primary alcohol. When treated with HBr, right, in the presence of, here it is acting like a catalyst, right, and it is going to what give you? RBr. This is your bromoethane plus water is given out. In secondary and tertiary alcohols, we do not require any catalyst. Is that clear? The reaction proceeds as it is with HBr. In case of HI, the alkyl iodides, they are formed by heating the alcohols with HI. So alcohols when treated with HI, they will always form what? Alkyl iodides, right? And when alcohol is heated with HI in the presence of red phosphorus, then what it is going to give you? It gives alkane. So C2H5OH when treated with 2HI in the presence of red phosphorus, okay, then it is going to give us C2H6, which is ethane plus I2 plus H2O. So what did I tell you over here? Here I told you that in case of HI, the alkyl halides are formed by heating the alcohol with HI, but here no catalyst is used here. Whereas with the same reaction where you are using alcohol with HI, if you use a catalyst, that is red phosphorus, then you get ethane. I hope this is very clear. We come to the B part of the same reaction. What are we studying? The reactions due to cleavage of carbon and hydroxyl bond. So last one for today, that is reaction with phosphorus halide and thionyl chloride. Followed. So let's take a general reaction, like this is your alcohol. When treated with PCl5, what it is going to give? It will give RCl plus POCl3 plus hydrogen iodide. Okay, then ROH with PCl3, phosphorus trichloride. It will give RCl plus H3PO3. This will be 3 and this will also be 3 then, right? And if this ROH is treated with your thionyl chloride, that is SOCl2, this will take place in the presence of pyridine, and it is going to give you RCl plus SO2 as a gas plus HCl gas is given out. Okay, so some of the examples could be, we can note down some of the examples also, like ethanol, C2H5OH when treated with PCl5 ethyl chloride, C2H5Cl plus C2H5Cl plus POCl3 plus, sorry, this should be HCl. Okay, so this is going to form HCl. C2H5OH when treated with PCl3, phosphorus trichloride, then it should give us what? 3 parts of C2H5Cl plus phosphorus acid will be given out. And lastly, with the thionyl chloride, C2H5OH plus SOCl2 in the presence of pyridine, it should give ethyl halide, C2H5Cl plus SO2 gas plus HCl gas will be given out. Okay, so that's all for today. The third type of reaction we'll do tomorrow. Thank you.